Hey guys and gals, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup webinar. So, equities, they continue to power higher here. But I want to take a look at the VIX because these are the two things that I'm watching today. I'm watching for volatility to see if we start to get a move in volatility. You can see I'm actually monitoring the highs from yesterday. We take out those highs from yesterday. That's when I'm going to be like, okay, let's see what happens. But we've had a lot of things move back towards their support or resistance levels. So let's talk about the euro first. So the euro actually sold a little bit at 118.30, and I haven't added, but we're at the top of the resistance zone. If you remember the face webinar this morning and you're looking at the bias chart, I had written resistance of 118.50. We're basically 118.50. Well, we've been as high as 53. We're just stalling here. So this is acting as resistance. I should have just been a little bit more patient and waited for that, but it's okay. I don't mind being short in these areas. I'm also not positioned really aggressively either. So I don't mind adding, but I want to be confident that we're turning lower. So I'd like to see a move back below like this 118.20. You move back below here, then you're heading back down towards 117.80, something like that. You look at the Aussie dollar. Aussie right back up against resistance. Really strong rebound in the Aussie, but it's following precious metals and it's following risk appetite. I mean, stocks are higher. Look at the S&P. We're up to new highs. Very divergent relative strength. New highs, divergent RSI, overbought, 1 hour, divergent. It's all, I mean, again, we're just kind of following the melt up in stocks. It's happening. NASDAQ up again, new highs. Actually, this surpassed its previous high as well, but look at the RSIs, they're all divergent. And again, I'm going to reiterate with the S&P at the with the DSI at 90, VIX DSI at 9, you have to be really careful chasing the market higher. I wouldn't mind being long risk, but being long risk up here just is a little bit risky. Get it? Now, one of the other pairs that's really pulled back has been the dollar yen. Now, I got a question from Vlad about the euro yen. The euro yen has had a hell of a bounce back, but that's euro related. So you can see we're bounced back above 130. We went from the 129.80. I thought we actually printed 80, but no, we only printed 81. Basically rallied back 30 or 40 pips. We're still struggling at that big long-term resistance level, but the bounce back is because we're seeing the euro squeeze higher against a lot of different currencies. I mean, look, the euro has rallied substantially against the, ooh, wow. I didn't realize we're right up against resistance here in the euro sterling. Right up against resistance here. The euro Aussie is, consolidating. Euro New Zealand is consolidating. Euro yen bounce back. And then obviously the euro dollar. So the euro yen, I think, is more of a product of the euro US dollar at this moment in time. Okay. And because stocks have been so strong, you have seen a slump in the dollar Canadian came off of resistance. US dollar Norwegian krona couldn't, sustain a break above this 855 level. Okay, so it's stalling. It's not really moving anywhere. The dollar Mexican peso going down towards the 127% extension as we sent out in the ForexAnalytix updates. So again, I'm just going to have to reiterate, we have to be very, very careful of where stocks are at and be watching them because DSIs are extreme. All the relative strength is divergent. It's got the makeup of a reversal today, but it hasn't shown us a reversal yet. But by the end of the day, it's going to be really important if we start to see, volatility, VIX, break higher, S&P move lower, and then we're going to have to look at like some of these different commodity currencies. I think the Aussie would turn lower from where we're currently at. Kiwis bounce back, but still struggling. Dollar Canadian's pulled back, but it's actually holding up pretty well for all intents and purposes. So overall, I think we just have to be patient. Greg says, why not turn around tomorrow for the FOMC? Well, tomorrow's FOMC minutes, right? I mean, I don't think the minutes are going to tell us anything else that we don't know, but it could be. I mean, it could be. Could be today, could be tomorrow. And again, I'm looking for triggers, and triggers for me is just volatility. And let's see if the currency market plays a little, because the currency market's been pretty sideways recently, and we haven't. That's the point I was trying to make earlier today. Man, this cable's weak. Holy cow! Look at the pound today. Just look at like an intraday chart. There's the pound. Here's the euro. Euro's holding up. Pound, not so much. But what was I going to say? What was I saying? I think we've got to, just wait for some triggers. Let the market, show us. Simon says, you sound like you're in the Matrix and not sure where to find the spoon. Where's the signal? I agree, it's tough. Yeah, it is. It's like, the point I was trying to make is what I made on the face webinar. If you guys missed the face webinar, let me explain to you what I was saying about that. If you're buying risk, right? Like let's say you trade currencies predominantly. You see in the stock market just rip higher. What's your natural reaction? I'm going to buy Aussie. I'm going to buy Kiwi. So, you buy Aussies. The Aussies move, we're up like 30 or 40 pips. Kiwi, maybe up about 30 or 40 pips. S&P, on the other hand, S&P has rallied, 2-3%, whatever it is. Basically, you're not getting the same bang for the buck if you're buying risk currencies in the market, and that's going to start weighing on people if the market starts to turn lower. That's why I'm so concentrated on what's happening in the Aussie, in the Kiwi, in the Canadian, because if you're trying to play the risk card in some of these commodity currencies, you think it's a tough time, trying to fade risk. Imagine if you're trying to buy risk in the FX market. You're having a tougher time, right? So, the FX market is just not playing along with this move higher in stocks. And you might say, well, it's the S&P, it's the Fed and blah, blah, blah. But it's not. It's not just the S&P. I mean, look at the DAX. All these European bourses, there's maybe not the FTSE so much, but they're stronger, generally speaking. Even the Shanghai's bounced, but FX risk hasn't. And yes, we stretched to new highs. It's going to pull back, just like you saw in the Canadian today, just like you've seen in the peso. And the peso is obviously working a little bit better because it is an emerging market currency, so it's going to. But all in all, if you are out there buying risk and in currencies, and you're watching the S&P rally, the NASDAQ rally, the Dow rally. I mean, look at the NASDAQ move. Just in the last couple of days, since late last week, I mean, we've rallied 5% in the NASDAQ. That's since what date is that? Is the 31st? I mean, in a week, we've rallied 5% in a week in the NASDAQ. And in the Aussie dollar, you know, we rallied only, and this is after it dipped and then it turned. I mean, we've rallied 1%. You would think, you know, if you were buying the Aussie dollar, it's going to be up way more than that, probably closer to 2. So I'm just saying that it is really tough on both sides if you're trading the currency market, because if you're buying currencies with risk appetite, you are struggling. And then obviously, you know, shorting risk is just, it's tough to do because stocks don't go down. Anyway, keep your chin up, guys. Let's be aware of the VIX today. Let's keep an eye on equities, obviously. And by the way, if you're trading S&Ps or you're watching S&Ps, what I'd be looking for is just a new trend low. When I say new trend low, I should reiterate, below this hourly low, below this trend line. You know, this trend line gives way. That's when we really have to start like looking around and seeing what currencies are doing. And man, this sterling is weak, very weak today. All right, guys. Anyway, I hope you have a great one. And thank you all for being ForexAnalytix clients. And I appreciate all of your camaraderie in the chat rooms. And for those of you guys that are in the chat room, are not in the chat rooms, hey, thank you guys just tuning in all the time, and have a good one. I'll see you later. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.